Hi, welcome to today's trip. Now today we've come to a place just near Blackpool. It's somewhere that you'll have heard of, but not necessarily know. I certainly know about it, but I've never been here before. It's famous for a world-class comedian because of his name. It's famous for a fantastic beach, which we'll find out in a bit. So today we've come to Morecambe. So come with me and let's see what it's all about. Morecambe is on the northwest coast of the UK, just north of Blackpool. First thing I've got to show you is this fantastic train station, Lancashire Stone, and if you come by rail to Morecambe, you're following the footsteps of hundreds of Victorian travellers who used to visit through the same station. And if you come to Morecambe via train, you're going to walk out and see this fantastic Art Deco hotel. Look where you get to sit to have your breakfast in the morning. And look what view you have when you have your breakfast in the morning over that gorgeous beach. One thing they do have a lot of is writing on the floor. Like water, off a duck's back. Seagull flying across Morecambe Bay. Thought it's lovely here. I think I will stay. Morecambe Bay is absolutely huge. It actually covers 310 square kilometres, or 192 miles if you want it in English. There are loads of hotels right on the seafront in Morecambe. And the views, again, wonderful. We decided to start today from the north side of Morecambe and walk back into town itself. Morecambe's actually quite famous for its birds. The harbour, the bay itself, allows for waders and some slightly rarer species. In fact, one of Morecambe's most famous residents, which we'll come across later on, he was an avid twitcher. And this must be the home of the Morecambe Sailing Club. Right next to the beach, nice big area for them to meet up, and a little cabin there to look over the place. When you've done with your sailing, nice little play park there for the kids. Morecambe have placed little machines all around the seafront where children can pump a little pump at the bottom to find out about what they can see in front of them. Layla's going to use one of those now for you.
Hello, young explorers. Right now you are stood in front of Morecambe Lifeboat Station. This is where volunteers stop whatever they are doing when their page is sound and go out onto the sea and river to save people in distress. Whether people are cut off by the tide or stuck in the mud, these ordinary men are trained to launch the boat or hovercraft day or night to save people at sea.
We're coming up to an unusual sculpture in a minute, and Layla's going to use her feet to pump the machine to tell you all about it.
Right now you're standing in front of a very special piece of art on Morecambe Promenade. This isn't just any installation. It's a mountainscape that mirrors the real-life views across the bay.
If you like this type of video, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. Helps me tremendously. And if you've been to Morecambe, tell us about it in the comments. Tell me what I've missed. We're coming up to one of the biggest monuments in the promenade, one of the older ones. It was made from a donation that Alderman John Robert Burkitt did. he donated £400 for a library. The other thing is the council refused to pay for any upkeep for such a library. So he said, let's have a clock tower instead, which was finally lit in 1905. One of the things that I do like about this place is that there's more than one or two little play parks for kids to just go and play in. You don't have to spend lots of money in theme parks and in slot machines. You can just enjoy time on the beach and have a little bit of play in a play park. For younger kids, it's fantastic. And now to somewhere that sees a lot of visitors come into Morecambe for. And that's because of one person out of a comedy duo, Eric Morecambe. His actual name was John Eric Bartholomew, who was born in Morecambe, so he took the name on. And you can see on this little area here some of the more famous little sayings that he had. T-Earn, he'll never sell any of those ice creams going that fast. Or that speed. They were the ultimate comedy duo from the 60s right into the 80s. Hardly surprising that people loved him and made a monument for him. If you want to see what British comedy really was, go look on YouTube for Eric Morecambe and Ernie Wise, Morecambe and Wise show. They had stars from around the world wanting to appear on their Christmas specials, asking them to appear on it. Their Christmas show in 1977 hit 28 million people watching it.
Now you got to pose like
the
him.
most any British comedy programme has ever done. And you'll see a lot of birds all about. I'm not talking the living type. Little models, little statues of birds all over Morecambe. One thing about the seafront, you're not going to get bored with the different types of shops they've got. You can be walking past a shop selling fishing tackle, next to a coffee shop, next to a fantastic little pub. It's obviously been around for quite a few years. The variety of shops is unique. You normally go along a seafront and all you get is amusements. Not here. One of the things people don't realise about Morecambe, it used to have two piers. One destroyed by a storm in the 1970s, and one by a fire in the 1990s. It also had a tower that was being built, but then ended up being dismantled for World War One. And the Winter Gardens, classic Victorian building. I must confess, looking at this, it really doesn't suggest what it could be. Looking around it, you think, is it some sort of outside theatre? Is it, you see there's some sort of steps there or somewhere to sit, but what's it actually for? Now, I do actually know what it was, but is it used for anything now? Originally, this whole area was a lido, an outside pool for the summer months. But as you can see, it's not exactly been maintained in recent years. In fact, if we just go out into the centre of it, this is some huge area that just seems to be one big tarmac place. And here's the Morecambe Lifeboat gift shop, where you can buy some things to help support the RNLI. Beautiful grassy area just next to it, but there's some, well, the birds are everywhere, in the sky, and sat on the walls. But they're not exactly going anywhere. There are so many different birds here. Every time you turn around, another one appears. So we're going up now the jetty, which sort of divides the bay up a little bit. On the left you've got the really sandy beaches, and the other side, the right, you've got more of a muddy and sand beach area. Do not go into the mud area. Another bird for you there. The mud is a bit treacherous and the sea comes in extremely quickly. So it's one of those places where you stay on the sand that's the dry sand. You don't go onto the wet sand because you could find out that you sink a little bit deeper than you expect. But there's plenty of beach for you to play on. Here's one of those unusual little things they've got all over Morecambe to help explain some of it. Let's get Layla to do some legwork.
Hello, young explorers. Today we're at the magical Morecambe Bay, home to a special bell that sings with the sea. This is the time and tide bell, an amazing artwork by Marcus Vergette. But this isn't just any bell. It's part of a network of bells around the UK, all designed to ring with the tide. Can you imagine that? A bell rang by the sea itself.
We're now going down what's called the stone jetty. It's not really a pier, but there is a cafe at the end of it, so when you get there you've got somewhere to relax. And there's a little lighthouse sticking out into the bay itself. They've certainly got some unusual little bits of artwork on here. Not quite sure what they're meant to be, but certainly different. And as I've said once or twice already, there's quite a few birds on here, and that one quite an impressive one at that. There's the cafe, shut unfortunately at the moment, but there you go, and the little lighthouse at the end. Right, so that's Morecambe. Much bigger than I thought. We've ended up back here at the lighthouse, the final spot on our little walk, where, as you've seen, enormous beach behind us. Beach in front where all the amusements and all the shops are, whereas that's a little bit quieter, I noticed. Birds plastered on just about every other post, and it's famous for Eric Morecambe. So, should you come to a place like this? Well, my feeling about it is if you want to go to Blackpool, you're going for the entertainment, for the amusements, and probably spend an awful lot of money. If you come to Morecambe, you've got some entertainment, you've got some amusements to go in, but you're not that far from Blackpool, so you could quite easily stay in Morecambe for a week and have the odd day visit to Blackpool. In actual fact, Morecambe is supposed to be the #1 destination for people from West Yorkshire. So they actually call it, its nickname is Little Bradford. Don't know where that's come from, but as I say, I would say that this is an ideal location where you can spend time on the beach, have a look around a few shops, something to eat, and then for the odd day trip out somewhere, and you've also got Blackpool literally round the corner. So would I come back and actually stay here? Yes, I probably would. Would the kids love me to stay here? I'm sure they would prefer Blackpool. There's more going on there. But from a family's point of view, there's nothing wrong with this place. So, Morecambe, fantastic place. well worth the visit. Anyway, I look forward to seeing you on the next one. Bye for now.